I'll make a video. I'm gonna make two separate videos. First, I'm gonna talk about how even after this particular thing happened, how I've still stayed with this girl. Most of you know her. Some of you don't. Some of you have never probably even heard of her. But I've talked about this on Instagram Live before, but I didn't really get into the whole story. So I'm gonna talk about that, and then there's gonna be a separate video where I talk about my first relationship, but not technically about it, just about how I was before, up until during, and then after. So, about, I guess you could say I was simping, even though I was with this girl. So, I'm talking about Bailey Patrick. So, so after we started dating December 26th, and I think it was right before spring break 2020. I met her when I was working at McDonald's. I was not working at McDonald's after this time, or at this point. So anyway, I was not unemployed, but I wasn't really working a lot. So for those of you who don't live in my state, there is a snow. There's a park not too far from my house called Snow Hinton Park, and it used to be, you know, very. It used to be very. A lot of people used to go there, but it slowly turned into not such a good place to go because of shit that would happen there. Like there's been shootings. There's been girls that have been raped there that I know personally that will not open up to the police. I mean, some of them have, some of them haven't. But anyway, so plus I'm no longer associated with them. So anyway, so me and her friend Chris at the time, we go to Snow Mountain Park just to hang out. So she says like, go to the top slide. I'll meet you there in a minute. I gotta use the bathroom. So her and Chris head toward the bathroom. I'm like, I don't think nothing of it. Now there's a black car on the other side of the bathrooms, opposite from where we parked. Like opposite from the Snowhaven parking lot. Now I'm watching where they're going from the top of the slide, and you know the top slide, you climb up the net, grabbing the pole, you stand on that black thing, and you just kind of like pull yourself up. Now, the pole was very like greasy. It was like greasy all the time. Every time I went there, that pole was like so hard to grip. Like you could barely like. Sometimes you couldn't even grip it because it'd be so greasy. I don't know if it was because the sun was beating on it all the time or what. I don't know why the pole that you had to grab onto and pull yourself up, and kind of like swing your feet on the inside and kind of like push yourself up into the slide or the platform that you know to get into the slide down. I'm watching it from the top of the slide. They go past the bathrooms and around to the back. So I don't think anything of it. So I get on my phone and I'm just sitting there waiting for her to come to the top of the slide. I lose track of time. Next thing I know, I look up, it's dark, or getting dark, and I don't see them anywhere. but I see a black car with the back passenger side door open, and there's these people who are taking pictures. And I'm not, you know, really thinking much of it, but this is all relevant to the story. I promise. Um, and you know, at the time, I didn't know this black car had anything to do with anything, so I wasn't really paying attention to it. So, anyways, the black car had lights on and everything, back door is open, and they're taking pictures of something inside the car. From my view, I can only see what's happening on the driver's side, which is nothing. All I can see through the back window of the driver's side back door is the flash of the camera. So, I just get back on my phone, and eventually my phone dies. The black car had done left. There was nobody over there. People were starting to leave the park. Well, I eventually asked somebody for one of their phones, and they give me their phone. I text Bailey and tell her it's me, we gotta go. So she's not responding. So I said, well, thank you, and they start asking me questions like, is this your girlfriend? What is she wearing? And then they point her out all the way across the park, and her and Chris are slowly walking towards my direction. Keep in mind, they're all the way on the other side of Bolero. By the time they pointed her out, she's, on Snowhen's side, coming towards me. Well, I start walking. I turn away from them and I start walking towards her and Chris. Then I slowly look over my shoulder, I have my peripheral vision, and I see this group of 8 black people that I didn't know at the time were a gang called the Vice Lord following me. So I start running towards Bailey and Chris, because I'm at the time I'm thinking, once again, a group of people, they'll fuck off. When I get up to her, we go straight into an argument that quickly ends because these gang members start saying shit to her like, you fucked him and fucking like you're cheating whore, calling her slut, cutting all this. Then me being the boyfriend supposed to defend her, I'm slowly starting to catch on to who these people are, so I'm not saying anything because I know I don't want to get myself in a predicament that I can't get out of. But Bailey, being the dumbass she is, still got me in a predicament that I don't know to this day how I got out of it. But at the time, when I was still trying to get out of this predicament, I was trying to get back with Chastity while trying to break up with Bailey. So I was trying to get a girl while still with the girl, with trying to break up with the current girl, because she was getting me in so much shit that I really could have avoided. So anyway, this is probably the worst predicament I've ever been in, to where I didn't know what the outcome and the end result was going to be. So anyway, backing back up, she says this, and it could have been the worst thing she could have possibly said. Now, she uses the N-word a lot. I don't know if she's aware of what like how offensive it is to people of that race, but she still said it in front of 8 black members of a gang called the Vice Lord, and she paid for it. So she says, "Leave us alone, you black," and she uses a hard R. And I do this. I'm just like, fuck. Next thing I know, when I lift my hand up from my head up from my hand, I am in a circle of about 6 black guys, big dudes, and they're slowly closing in this circle on my ass, getting smaller and smaller. And she's over there getting backed up by 2 of these big black girls. Chris, on the other hand, he's standing there not, paying for, like, he's not, like, it's like he's not even involved in this. But he's standing there, and he didn't think to, like, try and intervene by, like, calling the cops or something. Because we couldn't. Because shit, like, we were in a position where we really couldn't do anything. So, the only thing I had as a type of protection was my taser. As a matter of fact, I'll show it right here. This is what I had. Like, I don't think it's charged, but this was my taser. And, hold on. I forgot I had a power button. Yeah, I don't think it has enough power to, plus the button's kind of loose, so, yeah, I don't think it has enough power to pop, but, so, she says that, and she's getting backed up, and I'm surrounded, so I really can't do anything. Only thing I had time was this. So, I pull it out, because it had a holster. I don't know what happened to the holster, but I pull it out, and I'm holding it down on my side like this, and I just flip it on, and I feel like this. I just pop it one time, and they back up and jump, and they're like, "You can't take us all." And I'm like, "Okay, well, which one of you is gonna be the first test out?" I said, I promise you I can get about at least 2 or 3 of you." Now, in my mind, when I said that, I was thinking, okay, if I can get 2 or 3 of them, they go down to the ground, I got a little window to run and get to the car. I was going to leave her there because at that time, I was in fear for my own life, and she deserved what she got. So, I don't know who called the police, but the police car showed up. They punched her so hard, she ended up with a black eye, and they take off running. I think a police car chased after them, and the police are asking us what happened, and they end up telling us, well, if they don't catch them, there's not really much they can do. I'm like, you got to have a description of the car and the people that you saw getting in the car, considering you had a police car chasing after them, because otherwise, if you say something different, that's not even probable cause to do anything. So, with all that being said, she ends up going to the hospital, and we end up breaking up. Now, I was simping so hard, and I got her back. Again, worst choice. I should have stayed broken up with her, and should have just stuck with, being single. But I didn't want to be single, so I chose not to be. Now, at this time, later on, there's a group chat that has been made, I don't think I'm still in it. I don't think half the people that are in it even remember it. But the people that are in the group chat is me, my brother, my friend Hayden, my friend Jay, Bailey, her friend Chris, and my ex Chastity. So we're in this group chat, and the first conversation that ever happened in the group chat was me and Bailey fighting. Now nobody's really saying anything, but we're fighting about the altercation that happened. Now the reason we're fighting is because she's blaming me for what she said and what ended up happening to her. Keep in mind, I'm surrounded myself. I had no window of opportunity to, you know, go to her defense, which I wasn't going to anyway because, fuck that. I'm not gonna put my life in jeopardy to save hers because one time, at first, first of all, I already knew she was cheating. So that made me less 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 made me want to stand up for her less. So that being with what she said to them made me even want to not help her less. Like more or less. So anyway, so we're arguing about that. The reason we're arguing is because one, she's blaming me for that, and the people that were in that gang have started messaging me, her, and Chris. Now Chris is involved. Let's say we need to break it up, for good. When we break up, I'm out of, they quit messing with me, but they're still messing with her. So she starts texting me and telling me that this is still my problem. And I'm like, no, it's not my problem. I said, this is your and his problem. He's your boyfriend now. Y'all have had sex. You've told me this. This is not my problem anymore. You can deal with it on your own. Now, I don't know if they're still messing with her or if she kind of paid him off for something to quit fucking with her. But the only problem, I'm kind of scared to talk about this because last time I did, they started their shit with me again. But it didn't last long because I blocked them and they never tried to create another account, which they were doing before, trying to fuck with me and shit. But I don't care because when I got friends who work for the police department, and I know the two counties that this gang is affiliated in, and I know cops in both those counties. One's Tuscaloosa and one's Woodstock area. So make a long story short, they quit fucking with me, and I was with her for 3 months after the whole, taser situation and everything. So that's kind of my story of simping, and you'll see the second story soon. Bye.